Good Mom and Monday. You're here at the Mistaken Mama podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Mandee.
And we are your hosts. Happy New Year! It is 2024.
Weird.
I mean, for you guys.
Not for us.
It is crazy, though. I feel like this year has, even though technically, as we're recording this, it's not over yet, it is very
quickly.
Close.
Yeah.
Because it is already December for us. And it seems like this year has gone by ridiculously fast.
So fast. I had like a newborn at the beginning of the year, and now I have a walking, talking hellion.
Yes. Oh, that's so insane.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's amazing how much how much difference 1 year makes.
It really does.
And you never realize that because as adults, obviously, our lives don't, like, just us. We don't change very much in a year.
Right.
But your life can look drastically different in a year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a mom podcast. You can literally get pregnant and have a baby within one single year.
Yeah.
You can literally start a year not planning on having a child, and then by the end of the year have one and be like, oh, surprise.
Right. Well, and both my kids were...
Our December babies. Or
November, December. And so I did have them, got pregnant
you
at the
literally
beginning of the
did
year,
that.
had them by the end.
Yep. I did that once with Anna.
Yeah. I've never gone into the following year with a pregnancy before.
Oh. And see, I have twice.
Yeah. Weird.
Because Damon and Ellie were both summer babies.
Right.
Although I guess Ellie was technically spring, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
June. It counts, right?
Yes, it counts. Yeah, weird.
That's so interesting.
Weird. It has flown by, though. Lots have happened.
Oh, yes.
I'm a chronic, if you have an iPhone, I don't know if Android does it. You can go to, like, search in, like, 1 year ago.
Oh, uh-huh.
I do that literally every day. It's like a ritual thing that I just go back and look at the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have a widget on my home screen that does that.
Okay. And to go back and look at the beginning of the year, like Maverick looks like a baby.
Right?
Quincy literally looks like a newborn.
Because she is.
She looks like a whole new baby now. Like,
yeah.
It's just wild.
It is so, so wild. And like, this is a really good time of year to reflect on what the previous year looked like, any major changes, which I think we can get a little bit into this episode, some major changes that were, in our lives, good and bad, whatever, and kind of what we want to see for the new year.
Yeah.
But before we do that, let's do really quickly our wins, fails, books.
Let's try to do a yearly win, fail.
Ooh, okay. And then, for books, we can be like, how many books did we read? Do we know?
Oh, do we know?
I mean, I know on Goodreads.
I mean, I could look through and find out. So, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, we'll do that.
And then maybe which one was our favorite of the year.
Ooh, okay. I 100% know what book was my favorite of the year.
Okay.
We'll do that. Okay.
So, win of the year, do you have one? I feel like that's a big thing.
Okay.
So, I think.
I know what mine is.
Okay.
And I mean, yours might actually end up being the same.
Okay.
Potty training.
True.
As of the date of recording this, Damon has not worn a diaper during the day for over a week, except for at Maverick's party.
Okay.
Which was the one exception.
Yeah. Fair.
Mm-hmm. And he hasn't had... He had like one accident, but it was kind of... His pants got all tripped up on him.
Oh.
But he was like running to the toilet. And so like I'm not really counting that because he was like actively trying.
Yeah, he was trying to get there.
Yep.
Fair.
And I'm so happy. I'm so proud. I wanted it by the new year, if you guys remember from a few episodes ago.
Yes.
Or I guess it would have been a while ago now. I was like, by the new year, I want him to be potty trained. And so this is, at the time of recording, just like, today's the 8th of December in real life. And so not quite a full month before the new year.
Yeah.
And so I feel like at the true new year, when we are experiencing the new year, I think he's going to be solidly into his daytime not wearing a diaper. We'll see for how bedtime pans out, but I'm not worried about bedtime.
Right. That's, it's so nice. I mean, Maverick still kind of, I've talked to you about it. He goes back and forth. He's like potty trained, but there'll be some days where he just has a few accidents and then he'll be fine. And then he has a few accidents. And so,
yeah, which I've noticed that tends to last a while.
Potty trained for us.
Yeah. I count potty training as a majority of the time they get to the toilet on time.
Yeah.
And there's like a rare occurrence of they just straight up forgot and peed right where they were at.
Right.
But more often than not, an accident ends up being like they just didn't get to the toilet on time.
Yes.
And I don't feel like that counts.
Right. Yeah.
Because they were actively trying. They were already thinking about it.
Yeah.
And
they're
that
aware.
tends to, yeah. That not getting to the toilet on time part, at least in my experience with Anna, lasts a while.
Yeah.
For her, it lasted up until she was about 4.
Yeah. I could see that.
With very rare instances otherwise, like since then.
Yeah.
I think she's only had like 1 or 2 since she was about 4 years old.
That makes sense.
So I would say that's my like major win of the year, is getting him potty trained by the end of the year, which was what I was saying months ago that I was like, I need to. I'm dedicated to it.
That's true.
So that's my win of the year, I would say.
I would say that's probably mine too, getting Maverick potty trained. I think another one that goes along with that is he's finally, not always all night long, but he's finally in his own bed, in his own room.
Yes.
Yeah. And that is pretty recent. So
yay!
I'm really excited about that. So if he comes into our room, it's usually about 3 a.m. And that's when he like gets up to go pee, and then he'll just come right into our room. Makes sense. Then it's just whatever. We just let him sleep in there for now. But we've had actually so he's probably been doing this for 3 weeks. And we've probably had like 5 nights of him solidly sleeping in his room from night till morning without coming into our room. That's some progress for us.
I'm proud.
Yeah.
Proud auntie. Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. And he likes it. He'll say, I like sleeping in my bed. And then, but he wakes up and he says, but I want mommy there.
Oh.
And so that's why he comes into our room, I think.
With Anna, I used to have to sit by her bed to get her just to go to sleep. And I would have to be there for like 2 hours some nights. When I was pregnant with Damon, that was the worst experience of my life.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
Especially because she was kind of still nursing at night. And so it was like trying to nurse her and put her back when my belly's huge. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have to lay with him to get him to go to sleep. But usually he falls asleep within like 20 minutes. So it's not that bad. He used to be like that. He used to take forever to fall asleep.
Which, mom tip, and I mean, maybe you will agree with this or not, because you did it, so you may agree.
Right.
Skip the toddler bed.
Yeah.
Just go straight to a twin. Yeah. It, like, because you can put the bar on there still, or you can just do a floor bed. That's what we did. That's what you guys are doing. It's just so much better.
It is.
And usually the mattresses are better too anyways.
And you can squeeze in there with them. Yes. Versus like a toddler bed. You're just like laying on the floor kind of like half on, or you try to squish on and then your feet are like dangling off and you're just like, yes, this is violently uncomfortable.
Yeah, because we use like a memory foam mattress that I just got from Target. And I think it's technically like $90, so it's not cheap.
Right.
But it will literally last them.
Yeah.
For like the rest of the time that they live under my roof.
Yeah.
Unless I decide to get them a larger bed.
Right.
Realistically.
But the only reason I could see why we would need to get a bigger bed would be if one of my kids is just really tall.
Yeah. And then you just get like the twin extra long or whatever.
Because I had a twin. Well, I did switch, but that was just preference. And my mom was like, it's fine. You have your own room, so you can do that. But had I not had my own room, or had we had a small room, I would have been fine in a twin. Yeah,
I switched to a queen size bed when I was 14.
Yeah, I think I was just going into high school.
Yeah, and my grandma gave me the bed, so.
Yeah, I think mine was literally my parents' hand-me-down bed.
It was my grandma's hand-me-down bed that was in her attic. I mean, now that I think about it, I'm like,
I know. Kind of weird.
Kind of strange.
But
But it is what
I mean,
is.
it is a bed, and it's not like it's from some stranger or, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah. I wholly would recommend just skipping the toddler bed.
Yeah.
And then it makes it just easier because then you're not having to go through a second transition.
Right.
And if you do get them either just a floor bed or you just put the mattress straight on the floor.
Yeah.
Or you get them like a rail of some kind because they have rails that you can easily install.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier and then they transition so much better. And
yeah, I would say unless you have a crib that transfers into a toddler bed.
Mm-hmm. Which ours did.
And ours did too. And that's why we had it for a little bit. And it's still in our room hooked up to our bed. But for when you're actually trying to get them in their room, unless they're just easy kids that just are willing to go lay down without much coaxing, then definitely get a bed that you can fit in as well.
Yeah. With Anna, we got a separate toddler bed. Because like we had that weird like mahogany colored crib that Thomas's mom gave us, and then we ended up getting just like a separate toddler bed. I think I didn't like the way that one transitioned into a toddler bed, so we just got a different one, which we still have it. It's just in storage.
Right.
But I hated the mattress. I hated the everything about it. I couldn't lay down next to her or anything, so it was just chaos.
Right.
And then so we didn't even bother trying to do that with Damon. We just went straight to mattress on the floor, and he took to it very well.
Yeah.
And now we're doing the same thing with Anna, or with
Ellie.
children. Children's names are not my strong suit, apparently. Ellie. We are doing the same thing with Ellie, and she's transitioning into it slowly.
Yeah. I think it's better. I like the idea of a toddler bed because it's smaller and it takes up less space. But ultimately, they're not going to be in that toddler bed for very long.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And you can't fit in there. So it just ends up causing a lot more problems than it's worth.
Odds are you're going to need to put a twin bed in whatever room you're trying to put in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, anyways.
So you might as well make room for it now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Versus getting used to not having it and then being like, well,
we got to get rid of some stuff.
Just
get rid of the toddler bed or the crib.
Yep, exactly. Fail of the year.
Fail of the year. Do I have one? I guess I'll just tick off. We'll go back in time and reminisce on some fails. I'll just tick off a couple. We got COVID this year. When we got back from Disneyland, so
that was a
kind of evened itself out. Fun Disneyland trip.
That's a good way to put it.
I had to replace my AC in my car, which was like $800.
Right.
So that was, crummy. And Maverick got a big ol' ding on his head. And now he's gonna have a scar for life because it doesn't look like it's going anywhere.
It might slowly.
It might
fade over time, and then it'll just kind of be like a remnants of a scar.
Yeah.
Versus it being like.
I don't think it'll be like a deep
even
one.
That you can't even. The one on my.
Yeah,
I can see it. You can tell it's there, but
and
like.
I have one on my wrist from. I can't even show you because I have a coffee in my hand. But this one right along my. Can you see it? You can. Feel
barely.
It.
I can barely see it.
It's a from a swing set. The chain link pinched my skin when I was probably like. 4. And that stayed. That was intense.
Thomas ended up getting he hit himself with a grinder in the leg.
Ouch.
I would have been 17, so he would have been 19, 20. 20, I would say 20. We're 3 years apart. He's 20.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can barely see that scar now unless you know what you're looking for. So it'll probably fade over time.
Yeah.
I would say.
I think those are some of the biggest fails that come to mind from the year. But like I said, nothing that at least if it did, I'm blocking it from my memory because I don't have anything catastrophic in my brain right now.
I don't think that, I can't really think of anything either.
Yeah.
I mean, none of my kids have broken any bones, which...
Not this year.
For my children is a win.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Damon hasn't broken any bones because he's my rambunctious one.
Didn't he end up in the ER a couple times this year?
He did. Yeah, he impaled himself.
His throat.
So I mean, I guess that can be my fail of the year.
That can be your reminisced fail.
Is that he impaled himself. I mean, okay, to be fair, it didn't go through the back of his neck. It poked him pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that, not the worst
Yeah.
thing in the world.
No, this was a pretty good year.
I would agree. Overall, this was a pretty good year. Not a whole lot bad happened. And I would say that most of the good outweighed the bad anyways.
Yeah. I guess I could have said my win for this year was going to Disneyland.
Yeah, that's a good win.
You saying that Damon being potty trained, I was like, oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we didn't go on any like major trips or anything, but
I feel like this year was just good. It was just a good year.
There's always like highs and lows with like every single year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't say that there was anything that was just like this year was like the worst year of my life.
Or this year was like the absolute best of my life. I mean, it was a good year.
Yeah. Still, even the year that I would consider the worst year of my life is also simultaneously the best year of my life. And it's the year that I became a mom.
Yeah.
And had Anna because my grandma died.
Right.
But then she was also born. So like it's also not the worst, but also not the best.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about 2020 when I had Maverick.
Yeah.
Just a lot was happening, but it was also...
I had Damon that year. Yeah. So I
it was
completely
also
agree.
just a good year for me.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So books.
Okay. If you don't track your books on Goodreads, you should. It's pretty good. I like it. Especially if you use Kindle, because it automatically tracks your Kindle books.
I should do that, but I don't.
You don't have it connected to your Amazon? Girl, it does it automatically. You just literally log in. When you're logging to Amazon, it's so fast, and then it automatically tracks it, and you don't have to do anything. You can literally just do like when you're like reading your Kindle, and it works if you have a Kindle or if you're just using the app. And then it'll be like, Mark is currently reading. It'll ask you, and then you can just click Mark is currently reading. And then when you're done, it's like, Mark is done. And then it asks you if you want to leave a review, and it'll leave the review everywhere.
I think I tried to. Oh, wait, maybe it is. No, because it says I'm currently reading Crescent City. So how do I know what I've read this year? I guess Kindle doesn't really tell you. I would just have to guess. Library.
So I can tell you the books that I have finished, and then I can also tell you the books that I opened and didn't finish.
Oh.
Because I finished 9 books this year. But it looks like I started an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess technically 6 because I'm reading Twilight. 6 books. And either didn't ever finish or still yet haven't finished because I didn't finish Twilight yet.
Let's see. I read... Did Kate come out this year?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one.
So you can count that one.
So
hey, that's my book win of the year right there.
6,
It's like, this book existed this year.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, almost 17 because I'm finishing Aberrat still. So almost 17 books.
You read more books than I did this year. What's your favorite book of the year?
I really liked, I'm going to butcher it because you guys know I will, but I really liked A Court of Thorns and Roses. Look, I said it.
The first book or the series?
The whole series.
Do you have a favorite of the series?
Let's see. Favorite of the series. Favorite of the first 4 would probably be Mist and Fury, which I think was the 3rd. Right? Or was it the 2nd?
Is the 3rd or the 4th book the tiny one?
The 4th is the tiny one.
Oh, okay. Then I'm getting them confused.
I'm pretty sure the 4th is the tiny one.
Mist and Fury is the 2nd book.
Okay, I think that one was my favorite. Is that the one with the big battle happening? Or is that the 3rd one?
I think that's the 3rd.
Whatever one the big battle happens.
With
Hybern, yeah.
I feel like it's the 4th or the 3rd one because isn't the 4th one like
The fourth one's like the weird fill-in random book.
But isn't that like supposedly like the year after the battle?
Oh, true.
So that would be my guess.
So yeah, the third one.
Because the first one is the battle with Amarantha and that whole, which I actually really like the book. A lot of people said they hated the first book.
Oh,
but
I loved it.
I actually really enjoyed it.
I loved all of them. That's why I'm having a hard time deciding.
Yeah.
But I think the one with the big battle with Hybern.
I can't remember what the second one has a damn thing to do with. I think it's like mostly leading up to the battle.
Yes.
And like her and Dries.
Yes.
Rhys. His name
Yes.
is
Yes. 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 Yes.
Her and Rhys becoming closer, and then
Right.
all of that fun jazz. And then isn't there like some issues with her original love interest? Tamlin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Like he kidnaps her again, or is that in the first one?
I think that's in the second one.
That's in the second one.
Third one?
So then the third one is just straight up the battle, and like the whole book
Right.
is the battle.
Right.
Okay, so then yeah, I'm thinking about it correctly.
Yeah. But if I had to separate, because I kind of separate the first four from the fifth,
Fair.
and I really enjoyed the fifth.
Which I'm still listening to
I
that.
didn't at first, but then I really enjoyed it by the end of it. So I almost think of it as like two separate series coming together.
Fair, because it's a spin-off technically.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they're kind of like a separate thing. And so
you kind of...
I kind of like the fifth, but I wouldn't say I like it overall. I don't know.
With the main storyline, I think that I'd agree that I like the... Well, I don't know. I might have actually argued that I like the second or the first one better.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a little bit more story surrounding Rhys and her, whereas the third the third book, it seems to be about a lot of other people too.
Yeah.
Because don't they like travel to all the different courts and try to get stuff?
Yeah.
It seems to be, we learn a lot about other people and not as much about them.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's what I liked about the first two, is I got to learn a lot about
Them.
the very main
Yeah.
two people.
Yeah.
I mean, in the first one, I kind of like the race is like Amarantha's bitch, and then the second one, it's like I am king.
Right. Yeah.
He has a lot of story progression.
Right. He does. That's like a series that I remember I was telling you I might find like a comfort series. I know I've only read that once, but I might reread that one again. Because I feel like the second read through of a book, you catch
A lot more
because now you know what's going to happen, but you don't remember all the in-betweens.
So you can kind of catch those Easter eggs or those hints.
Yeah, but it also feels like you're rereading a book for the first time again.
Yeah, I can agree.
I really like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I would say that whole series, I'm just going to say that whole series in general is my favorite this year.
I like that.
What about you?
So this year, I finished reading 9 books this year, which for a lot of like book talk people, they're like, oh my God, that's like nothing. I read 150 books this year.
Whatever.
Well, good for you for reading your 150.
Yeah. That's a lot of books.
I saw some people reading like up in the 200-300s, and I'm like, are you reading a book a day?
Are you enjoying the book?
Yeah.
Or are you just buzzing through it?
Like the people who can finish a meal in 5 minutes, and it's like, did you taste it?
Right. Was it even good? Or do you just need fuel?
Yeah. I'm also the kind of person that if a book just doesn't speak to me, I will put it back down.
Yeah.
And I'm not the kind of person who like, I have to finish a book.
Right.
Even if I hate it, I won't.
Right.
There will be certain books that I will push through if it's like part of a series.
Yeah.
That like I'm dedicated to finishing the series.
Right. Yeah.
As for my favorite book of the year, oh wait, did I not read that book this year? Oh man, I don't think I get to count that book. Hold on.
Favorite book from last year.
Did I? Ah, dang it, it was last year. Okay, now I have to pick a different book. I was going to say Pen Pal. Pen Pal was my favorite book of 2022.
But now we need 2023. You're like, I didn't have a favorite this year. Boo.
actually. Okay. So let me tell you the 9 that I finished. So technically I counted Kate's, but I'm not going to count that here. Because I mean, I wrote it and then I'm pretty sure I read that book like 12 times.
I was going to say, there's your 100 books.
Yeah. Which is part of the reason why I didn't read as many books this year is because I wrote an entire ass book.
Right.
And did a lot of the editing myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am also writing a second book.
Right.
Both of those get to count. I'm counting it.
Oh, I would. I would totally.
But I read the main 4 of A Court of Thorns and Roses. Listening to the 5th. I read Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. I read the second Miles High Club series book. And then Flock and Exodus from the Ravenhood series. Yeah. I would honestly argue that I liked the Miles High Club series book 2 book the most out of all of those. Yeah. That was the one that I said that it was like a single mom and the guy, because the book is called The Takeover. He's the person who does like takeovers in his company. Yeah. And it's a media company or whatever, and he ends up falling in love with this other girl. And he was like the bachelor of the year, and then he ends up becoming this dad figure that he never thought he would become. Yeah. I really liked the progression of that book. And that's probably a book I would argue that I'd reread. And it's the third one, the Casanova, that I just...
That you had to put down.
I had to put down because I hated it so much. Right. That one was at Enemies to Lovers that I just could not.
Would you say that was your least favorite book of the year?
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, I mean, technically The Takeover is also an Enemies to Lovers in a sense. Because he's trying to take over her company. Oh, okay. And so she sees him as an enemy. Yeah. Because it's her husband's, now her dead husband's company. And so she sees him as an enemy, but then she ends up looking past that. Oh, okay. And so it's not mutual hate.
So it's kind of like she hates the idea of him.
Versus hating him. Yes. And then once she gets to know him, she's like, okay, he's a good person. I like him a lot. Yeah.
I like those kinds of books.
But yeah, I would argue the Casanova probably was. Let me see. Hold on.
Your least
what
favorite.
Other ones that I put down this year that I'm just like,
what my least favorite would be.
Obviously, this is only counting my Kindle books because I don't know. I've read a couple other physical books that I'd never put in here.
So I think you've probably read more than 9 books this year.
I think I have. Because I have Fourth Wing in here, but of course, me and Thomas are reading that book together, and I'm about to just give up on that because he never wants to read the damn book.
Oh, right.
And I'm about to read it myself because I have Fourth Wing and I have Iron Flame now. I'm like, I want to read these damn books.
I think my least favorite was probably the Triad series that I read.
Oh.
I just
wasn't a fan of it. I'm surprised you didn't put those down.
I'm honestly surprised too, but I had heard such good things about them that I was like, I'm going to push through. But I think honestly, the only reason people like them is because of the smutty parts.
See, and I just can't get behind that.
I have to have a good storyline that makes sense and isn't like so out of this world. Unless it's like literally out of this world, then I can understand an out of this world storyline. But if we're in the common world and now you're giving me an out of this world storyline that like maybe happened, but I really highly doubt has ever happened, it's really hard for me to push through.
Yeah. I will say I did not finish Midnight Sun this year.
Oh, true.
I put it in the I don't know if I'm ever going to pick this back up pile.
Fair.
So that might actually, because I might pick up Casanova and keep trying.
Right.
Whereas Midnight Sun, after 2 years of trying to read this damn book, I finally was like, I'm probably never finishing this book again.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
So that might actually
I haven't even read it, but I've just heard terrible things about it.
It's a terrible book. If the author hates the book, that's a sign.
Yeah. God, she's probably just like kicking herself.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Yeah. I think that wraps up our books and
which, I mean,
and fails of the year.
I guess that's actually like a really big part of the year is because like those are, the wins and fails was all about us being moms.
Yes.
And then the books is something that like genuinely we do. Like we're not just reading books for this podcast. This isn't a book podcast.
No. Or we would probably read a lot more books than we did.
Probably. But I mean, it's something that we genuinely enjoy and, we share with you guys.
Mm-hmm. It's like our escape.
It is.
Into a different world.
Yeah. I would, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But so as far as like going into the new year, what do you have like a main goal you're looking forward to this year?
Main goal this year. I think me and Michael, really want to get some things done on the house. There's some stuff that just needs worked on. It's needed work on for a while. And we just want to start chipping away at those things. Like I know they're expensive, but we got to start doing stuff.
You mean like finishing the garage?
Finishing the garage. The house does need a new roof. It has for a little while. Like we are pushing it to its end.
Which I talked to Thomas about that, by the way, and he was like, "This fucking rain."
I know,
because we can't do the tar
if
it's raining.
Yeah. We want to redo our bathroom and our bedroom, and I think I want to take that on. I think I want to
like DIY it.
Yeah,
kinda?
yeah.
I mean, you'd save a ton of money.
I think that I could. I don't think that one would be. I'm not gonna say it's not hard, but I think that I could do that one.
I mean, it's not like you're replacing an entire roof.
Right, exactly. And I mean, we don't use that bathroom that much anyway, so I know that I could take my time on it and it's not going to like put us out, because I also want to redo the kitchen, but that would put us out because it's our kitchen and it's also our dining room / shove the dogs in there if we need them out of the way. And
yeah, your kitchen floors, Mandee.
That's the big one that we need. Because they're tile right now, but they're like chip tile. The grout is basically non-existent at this point.
Yeah.
Which I do like having tile in the kitchen. But I don't like what's there.
You should do like a click lock system instead.
Yeah.
It'd be cheap too in comparison to other things.
Right.
Definitely don't do vinyl.
Yeah,
just bunches.
No, I don't want that. I would like to replace the tile for different tile.
Tile's crazy.
It's expensive.
Yes.
But I think that's probably our biggest thing, is just starting to work on some stuff in the house. We really want to get the garage figured out.
Which I'll help in any way that I can.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine once we get the garage sorted out, and we need to have a garage sale. And then, because the things that are taking up space are things that we don't want anymore.
Fair.
So once we can get that figured out, we can get the garage filled up. I have a leak in my garage. Then I think it won't be so hard trying to figure out like exactly where everything's going to go and stuff. But I just have to do that. And that's a lot of work. And it's funny because you have all this time when you don't have kids that you don't realize and you take for granted, and then you have kids and you're like, I can't just go out in the garage with Michael and spend hours and hours and hours really focusing on this garage because I have 2 kids. So I either have to call someone, usually my mom, and say, hey, can you watch the kids for a few hours? Right. And then it's also a process because now I have to either drive them there or go pick them up, or now they're calling because they want to call and talk to mom. So it's really hard to just focus on a task for hours.
It is.
And
I agree.
I definitely took that for granted before I had kids.
Same. I didn't have very much of an adult life before I became a mom. And I mean, sometimes I look on that and I'm like, oh, wow, I could have done a lot more as an adult before I became a mom. Right. That's not an option now. Now I'm going to have to wait until they're all out. And then now I can do stuff.
Yeah. I obviously don't regret my kids at all, but there are definitely things that, and you don't even realize it until you have kids. And then you realize, oh, I could have done like all these things before I had them. And then you kind of understand the people who are like, well, I'm waiting to get all these things done before I have kids. And before I was like, whatever, just get them done when you have kids, you know? And now you're like, oh, I get it now. Yeah, get that stuff done first.
I feel that 100%. Yeah.
I mean, don't wait forever, but you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's probably the biggest thing I'll be focusing on is this home.
This home.
What about you?
I think this year I really want to, goal-wise, organize my goals. Let me explain what I mean by that, because that sounds like
I almost couldn't swallow that. Sorry.
that sounds like the most cop-out answer, but no.
My goal is to organize my goals.
Because I'm still working on book 2.
Right.
I have a couple other books in mind that I want to do. We have the podcast.
Yes.
The audiobook may not be done by the time this comes out. I'm not sure. Or maybe it might be, and I don't know. But then I'll be working on doing the second one. So I'm going to just be replacing one thing with another.
Right.
And just all the other things, but that career-wise, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But getting those things just more organized and tackling those things in a way that it is a lot easier to manage, because right now it's just if I have free time, I'm okay, which one do I want to do right now?
Right.
And which one am I going to put off?
Right.
And so just being more organized.
Yeah. I think that's a good one.
Yeah. And treating it more like an actual job / business. Because then I think that I will be more likely to have the goals that I need in order to get things done at certain times versus just doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
As it more job, less hobby.
Yes.
Yeah. But just don't lose that love for it.
Yeah. That's going to be the hard part.
Yeah.
And so that's my main thing for this year. Is to just get more organized, and then not only just for, the podcast and being an author and stuff, but also just kind of more in life too. Anna, for example, she does her online school, and Damon will be starting not this 2024, but 2025, right? He turns 4 this year. Yes.
Yeah.
But so getting her online school way more we do it this, this, and this, so that once Damon starts, I will have already got it all figured out.
Right. Yeah, I think organizing is really good. Another thing that I would really like to get on top of is I want a little bit more structure to my life.
See, that's what I mean by organize.
Yeah. I would love to get more structure in my day-to-day, because I find that the days that are a little bit more structured go better. We all feel a little bit better. Maverick does better. We've noticed a lot of behaviors with him lately. Excuse me. We've noticed a lot of behaviors with him recently, and I think he really likes, and I know most kids do, he really likes a structured day, a structured schedule, something that he can rely on, he can anticipate. He really has been looking for that, I think. And so I really want to get into a better routine. Even if that means, I'm setting an alarm now in the morning for me to get up, and then, okay, I'm waking the kids up by no later than 8:00 unless they're up already. And I know that sounds not the hardest thing, but I think as a stay-at-home parent, that is kind of hard.
It is.
You get very much into this cycle of, well, we don't have anything first thing in the morning, so we'll just sleep in.
Yeah.
We'll just wake up whenever you guys wake up. And while that sounds good and nice, and in the moment it feels good to just, oh, the kids are sleeping, I can go back to sleep. I feel like it really, after a while, you're kind of yearning for a schedule. You're
yes,
I need structure. Everything's chaotic. Everything's crazy. I just need something to be nice and anticipated every day.
Yes. And because we've gone through bouts where we are very structured, very organized, and it, while keeping the schedule and the routine, can be complicated sometimes. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's the easiest thing in the world, because it's not, especially with littles.
Yes.
Because you can't always plan their naps.
Yeah.
Can't always plan when they need to eat, whatever.
Right.
But during those times where we have had more structure, I have noticed, like you said, things tend to just go easier. You have less outbursts, especially once they are like in it.
Right.
And then something disrupts that, and then you go completely off your schedule, and then it's just like, well, breakfast is somewhere between 7 and 10:30.
Exactly.
And then lunch ends up being somewhere between 10:30 and 3 p.m. And then dinner is sometimes at 9 o'clock.
Exactly. That's kind of where we're at. And I do give myself grace in the fact that this is a busy time of the year. I know this is New Year's for you guys, but we are at the end of the year, beginning of the year. It's a busy time. Mm-hmm. So I know that it's even harder to maintain the schedule, but we never had a schedule to begin with. So now going into, or a very, very loose schedule.
Yeah.
So now going into the crazy time, we have nothing to hold on to. So we're just chaos.
That's how I feel. And so going into this new year, I really want to get organized and like figure my shit out. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, every day I want to wake up by X time, do XYZ before the kids wake up around this time.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Anna does school between this time and this time, lunch, breakfast, whatever. Everything has like a window of time that it gets done within this window.
Right.
So on and so forth.
And I think at the beginning of 2023, I didn't have a night schedule at all.
Right.
That is one thing that we have been pretty consistent on. Does it fluctuate a little bit? Yes, but we've been pretty consistent on. And I can watch Maverick anticipate the things that we're doing. And I think that's why bedtimes have been going so easy, because he anticipates, okay, we read our 3 books after we have our jammies and our teeth, and if we take a bath that night and all that stuff. And then we read our 3 books, and then he goes and gives kisses. He has like a ritual with his dad now where he kisses, this is weird, but he kisses his mustache, his beard, his side of his face, his forehead, his eyes. And then, he gives a hug to his sister, and then he comes over to me and pick me up, mommy. And I know these seem very, very small, but he does it every single night.
Yep. Damon has a nighttime ritual that if we don't meet it, it's like he can't lay down, and he's like, oh my God, Mom, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. He calls it his 3 things, even though it's 4 things.
And it's just, I just want that. And I think that's the one, probably not only, but one of the biggest things I miss from going to work every day is that schedule, that routine. And when I was in it, I'd be like, oh, I hate this routine. But then you have something to look forward to. You have the weekend to look forward to have a different kind of routine. And I'm okay with that. Like right now, if we could get on a good schedule from Monday through Friday or whatever it happens to be, and we have 1 or 2 days a week that we're like, you know what? If you want to sleep in past 8, sleep in past 8. If I want to sleep in past whatever time I decide to wake up 7, then I'll sleep in past 7, But I need some structure somewhere.
Yeah. And I have found that because my husband, he works a rotating schedule. So he never goes to work on the same day of the week every single week.
Yeah.
It's I have a love-hate relationship.
That's hard.
With it.
Yeah.
And I have found that if we don't stick to our routine on the days that he is home, because like we do have like a loose routine.
Right.
It's very loose, and I need to get more
yep,
on it.
That's where I'm at.
Then the day becomes very chaotic, and things that should have got done don't get done.
Yep.
Like one of my favorite things in 2020 when we had our son was we were so strict on our schedule.
Yeah.
At least as far as certain things getting done within certain times.
Yeah.
Breakfast is done by this time.
Right.
Lunch is whatever. But dishes are always done throughout the day, ran through as you go, started before you go to bed, unloaded first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Trash is taken. It's like chores, household chores.
Right.
Were done routinely.
Yeah.
And like very much like we both were in it. And he was home.
Right.
For a long time in 2020.
Yeah.
Because of me being pregnant, he kind of got like his job was a lot looser with him needing to be there. And so he ended up getting to go on, like they put him on leave and they laid him off for 2020, that whole COVID thing. And they let him stay laid off.
Right. That's right.
And he was getting the COVID unemployment
pay
thing,
yeah,
which ended up being more than he was getting paid.
Yep.
As
I
a
think
base
for
level.
everybody it
for
was.
most people
yeah.
it was, yeah. And he got to stay home for like 3 months, and we got a really good routine.
Yeah.
And that was like right after we had Damon. And so it was really nice.
Yeah.
And I would love to get back to that kind of strict schedule. Like the schedule was loose in the sense of like newborn Damon got to sleep whenever he wanted to sleep.
Right.
I was nursing him whenever he wanted to nurse. And so like it was loose in that regard where we adjusted our schedule around him. But our day-to-day things that needed to get done,
like the basics,
were strict.
Yeah.
And that is what I want to get back to.
Yeah.
Is the strictness of household duties.
Yes.
And then everything else can kind of be looser.
Right. Because I feel like when I am on a good schedule, right now it feels like, okay, you can probably attest to this. When you have got so behind on house chores, on organizing, on getting rid of the kids' toys, it's like you can never catch up again.
Yes.
Because now, and it's like you get behind on the daily stuff too. So now just to get caught up on the daily things takes days. That by the time you're done catching up on the daily things and now you have a good routine again with the daily things, you realize how much is still there from what you need to catch up on with like deep cleaning stuff. So then you never get to the deep cleaning, which then makes the daily stuff even harder because now the deep stuff isn't clean. So now when your daily stuff gets out of control, the house is a nightmare.
It just goes into this spiral. Our bedroom.
It's sickening.
Yeah. Our bedroom kind of became the catch-all of our house.
This room.
Yeah. This room's your catch-all. For us, it's our bedroom. And so like we have at least 3 weeks worth of clean laundry that's just piled. We have all of our clean diapers that are also just piled instead of on the shelf because the shelf is a mess because the shelf became a catch-all. Right in front of the shelf on the floor is a catch-all. It's a catch-all on my side of the bed. It's a catch-all on Thomas's side of the bed. The closet is a catch-all. We have just enough room to walk around our bed, and that sounds chaotic and crazy, and because it is.
Right.
I mean, granted, there's only 2 feet of space,
right?
Anyways,
Yeah.
And so it's really just a little bit shorter, but still,
it makes your mind feel so messy, and it for me, it puts me into a couch lock.
Oh yeah,
because it's so overwhelming, and it feels like so much that I just can't.
Yeah, like I need to go through our room with just some bins and be like, okay, realistically, I haven't touched this thing in months. It needs to just go into our storage unit.
Right.
Or gone.
Yeah.
Or poof, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like we need to do that. And the hard part about that is with Thomas's rotating schedule.
Right.
It's like the time. When do I have time to have him help me with this? Because a lot of that stuff is also his. I'm like, I can't just decide to go put it in storage. And he said, oh, just set it aside for me. And
where
then it
do
just
I
gets
set it
moved.
aside? Yeah, exactly.
And then it just gets moved around the room.
Yeah. And I feel like I need a reset on the cleaning. I was just talking to my mom about this. I feel like I need to have somebody come into my home like 2 times a month. I don't know how much it is. I need to price it out. And do the deep cleaning of my house.
I feel like I need that.
Like, it might not be plausible. I don't know. I don't know how much that is. Maybe it is.
I have no idea.
And the idea of somebody in my home cleaning it really makes me a little uncomfy.
That bothers me too.
But I think I need it. And I know this probably to people who don't have the capabilities of staying home and being a stay-at-home parent. I'm sure this sounds like, just do it.
It sounds like first world problems.
Yeah, and it is.
It 100% is.
But it is still a problem that I'm trying to work on. And I just didn't realize how hard it would be to do the big things.
Especially because when you have kids, you'll clean up one of their messes, and as soon as you are done cleaning it and you turn around, it is back on the floor. Like the other day, I cannot tell you how many times I put our little ball pit on top of the trampoline to pull it out of the way.
Yeah.
In a single day. And the part that pisses me off the most is that Thomas was sitting right there on the couch.
It's infuriating because, okay.
Granted, he was in pain. So I'm like,
right.
I'm not going to expect him to get up and do it, but.
Right.
Come on.
It's like, okay, usually we pick up everything before we go to bed. So let's say we wake up in the morning, we go out into the living room while we're trying to figure out breakfast, or I'm trying to figure out breakfast, whoever's home at the time. The kids are playing with toys. Great. Fine. Okay. Then after breakfast is done, you say, okay, now I need a vacuum. So now the toys need to be picked up. So you pick up all the toys. Then you vacuum. By the time I'm done with the back bedroom, the living room has the toys back out again. So now I come out into the living room. The kids are nowhere in sight. They're in the home, but they're nowhere in sight. So I pick up those toys again. And then I go to clean breakfast dishes. I turn around, toys are back out. Okay, whatever, it's fine. And then I go back into their room to like make the beds and stuff. I come out, now there's a ton of toys out. And now, it's lunchtime.
So it just seems like it's a
never-ending cycle. And I enjoy it. I do. But, and I wouldn't mind just keeping up with those daily tasks. But then I look at my floorboards need scrubbed. Oh, there's stuff on the wall from a month ago that I keep seeing and keep thinking like I need to scrub that off the wall, but I don't. I need to clean the oven still. I haven't cleaned the oven. I need to clean the microwave. Like it's just that stuff. If it was just the daily, I can do that. But we've gotten so out of control that now the base stuff, the walls, the floors, like need attention.
Add on top of there having a schedule that takes you out of the home.
Yes.
Things that, throws off somebody being able to help or be a part of things. And then you're like, okay, not only do I have all of these daily tasks that have to get done within the day, but I also need to go do XYZ sometime today.
Yeah. My mind has been so chaotic lately. And I literally, I vacuumed the whole house. We have a real Christmas tree. I know we're past Christmas for you guys, but we have a real Christmas tree right now. And I love that. We do it every year.
There's some people that probably listening to this still have their tree and stuff up.
They might. I vacuumed the whole house. The tree, we didn't have enough water in the tree, so the tree has been dropping a few more needles than we're used to. I vacuumed everything. Every time you bump that tree, needles fall off. So it took me a while to vacuum everything up without bumping the tree in the process. Okay, so I get everything clean. Toys are up. Kids are doing fine. They were in their bedroom playing. I put the vacuum away. I'm walking down the hall. Maverick walks down the hall by the tree, just brushes it with his fingers.
Just drops the needles.
Literally, I heard it. It was like, and I turned and all back. I literally called Michael freaking out. I had a meltdown. It was just the last straw. And I'm like, why am I like, I've been yelling at the kids more.
Me too.
I have just been like, my fuse is this short and I'm just itching.
It's like I'm starting the day frustrated.
Yeah. And I used to never.
That's been a big thing for me lately.
I just need to get on a schedule. I need to get some organization, need to get on a schedule, need to get on a routine. And that's that.
Yep, I'm the same way. Like, I'm like, okay. If I'm starting the day snipping at the kids, that's a problem. That means that there is something going on where I'm dysregulated from the get-go. And I think it's the fact that my bedroom is, like, always a mess. My kitchen is a never-ending disaster.
Nightmare. Yes. Not saying yours, but mine.
Oh, mine is. Because my counters are a catch-all.
Yep.
And we don't have a ton of counter space. And then so when they become a catch-all, then it's like, cool, I have no space.
Yeah. That's our dining room table because we don't really use our dining room table except for Maverick sometimes eats in there or plays or colors or whatever, but usually we don't. And so it has been covered since his birthday with just stuff.
And that's how I always wonder, the old people who have a consistently clean home. Is it always consistently clean, or are you just vigorously cleaning before I come over? Because my grandma's house was spotless.
I think it's just always clean because they don't have littles. I really think it's the littles.
Because that table, your dining table, is the one that was in her one spot.
Yeah.
And it never had a damn thing on it except for the centerpiece.
Making up for it.
It's making up for its years of not being
of cleanliness.
used.
Yeah, it's been used and abused.
It was like, I am a clean table.
Now it's like, I am a catch-all table that has smeared yogurt down the back of the chair.
It's gone through a life cycle.
Oh, man. And then I feel guilty because I'm trying to keep all this clean. And then I'm like, they're just being kids. Mm-hmm. They're just playing. And so you want to let them play. But if it's dysregulating your mind so much, like something has to give.
Yeah.
Because I always feel bad when I go on like a deep cleaning and the kids are like irritated. They want me to come play with them. And they're like, Mom, come on. Mm-hmm. Quincy's crying. And I'm like, hold on. I'm just trying to do one load of dishes. Like, I will play with you after I'm done with these dishes. And they're like, come on, Mom. And you're just like, I could stop right now. I could stop this load of dishes. But then I know it won't get done until tomorrow because I won't be able to come back to it. And you're just, oh my God.
Yeah.
Sorry for this rant, but like.
No,
this
true.
Goes into like why we feel like we need a schedule. Why we feel like we need organization, because life feels crazy right now.
And this year, both of us have already said our main goal is to just get regulated, have a schedule, have a plan, and get in gear. And I think that that's a good goal to have, because like resolutions is one of those things that's like, oh, I want to lose weight, and it's like, I mean, sure, that's a good goal for the most part. But I think that have this specific goal of just getting your life in order will allow other dominoes to fall.
Yeah,
it's that first domino.
I agree.
And so my goal, I really want to get all my shit figured out, and I want my room clean.
Yeah.
I preferably sooner rather than later.
It's just when I'm itching to go to my mom's house because I just want to get away from my chaos of my home, but I still want to be in a home.
Yeah, feel it.
Like that's rough.
Yep.
Yeah, I need something. I think if I could get all the base stuff taken care of and then immediately call a cleaning company and just be like, how much is it for somebody to come right now and just deep clean everything? It doesn't help that we have 4 animals.
That constantly shed.
That constantly shit, constantly piss, constantly.
I said shed, not shit.
Well, they constantly shed and shit. Most of the time the shitting's not in the house. But yes, they constantly shed. They constantly are, right now it's rainy season. So they go outside, they come in. Now they have wet paws all over the floor unless we're like meticulously drying their feet. And it's just, it's never ending, and I love my animals. I love my kids, but I am feeling wild.
Dysregulated.
Yeah. And it's coming across in other ways in our life, and that's what I don't like.
Yeah. So 2024, the year of regulation.
Yes, please.
So what are your resolutions, your plans, your goals going into this year? Do you have a similar one to us? Do you not? Mandy's dysregulated currently.
I think talking about it just made it 10 times worse in my head, because now I'm thinking, like, when I'm done with this, what am I going to do?
I feel you. I'm like, I want to go home and clean my room.
Yeah, literally. But maybe this inspired you guys to figure out what you need to do.
Hope you had a good 2023.
Yeah. As far as the podcast goes,
we'll be wrapping up season 1 sometime at the end or mid-April. No,
March.
I think it ends up being April.
That's right. April,
sometime in there.
And that will be a year of us having this reboot of this podcast.
Which that's a win for this past year. Is that we rebooted the podcast?
Yeah. So, and I think I just looked at our Spotify Wrapped thing. I think we have 5 super fans that consistently listen.
Hey, that's something.
Yeah.
While the podcast,
we're small. We enjoyed doing it, and I think we never got into it because we were like, we're gonna make thousands of dollars. You know, we got into it because we enjoy talking about this, and we hope that maybe we'll reach somebody that will relate to us. And I mean, if one day we do get big and we make a lot of money, cool, great.
Yep.
But that's not the original intention. So
yep. Well, our battery is flashing, so
yes.
we'll get out of here, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024.
Let's hope it's a good one.
Yes.
All right. See you next week, guys.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.